Lin, the Silent One Vu, is a gangster in Chinese-occupied Hanoi, living in the steaming, paranoid alleyways of the 36 streets. Born in Vietnam, raised in Australia, everywhere, she's an outsider. Hello and welcome to Liam's Lyceum. I am your host, Liam, aka Hemvar. Today I'll be doing a spoiler-free review of T.R. Napper's 36 Streets. Standalone cyberpunk novel by T.R. Napper that was released in the very early parts of 2022. It is set, I believe, in the late 21st century. It is also in Hanoi, Vietnam, and our main character is Lin Vu, who is essentially a gangster, doing whatever her gang boss Bao commands, which, can end up pretty violent, honestly. This is definitely cyberpunk. It's gritty, and, adult. I don't know how else to describe it to you. But you should honestly go and read it. This is one of the biggest surprises, I feel like, of the year. I read this one right after Neuromancer as well, and I enjoyed it more than Neuromancer too. So Lin is kind of reluctant to do these violent things that this gang life requires of her. But mostly in the story, as far as the plot goes, she is meant to investigate a death and another missing person. There are actual Vietnamese phrases and names used. Well, I assume so, since I don't speak any Vietnamese. Lynn herself speaks English natively since she grew up in Australia. She's very proud. She's a very proud person, and so she doesn't speak much either, which is why she has nicknamed the Silent One. At the time, she's actually only 24 as well. So, of course, is cyberpunk so typical high-tech, low life, as you'd expect. There's drugs, sex, but it's not completely dystopian. Some people live normal lives relative to the gang one that Lin is living. Lin has a family, a sister and a mother. She doesn't quite have the best relationship with Lin. It's rather crude on the language, and kind of as you'd expect here, and the relationship she does have with her family is pretty interesting, as I think one of the things that Napper does really well is how this gang life that Lin has, how it intersects with her family, who seems like they're just living in their own bubble. Well, kind of how it doesn't really work that way. The story revolves kind of around a game, actually, called Fat Victory. It's an experience of the American-Vietnam War, and in the game you play as an American. But it's obvious that the Americans are viewed as the bad guys, along with the Southern Vietnamese, while painting the Chinese as good and great by their propaganda, though at this point the U.S. seems to have collapsed. This is, of course, this propaganda, rather, of China being the good guys is because China is at war with Vietnam. Vietnam, China, and Australia are like the three countries that exist. There's probably a couple others that might have been mentioned. I'm forgetting, but I do think it does a great job of showcasing living in cyberspace as opposed to living in a real mind and a real body, but also how the body goes kind of beyond human. It goes into the post-human, and especially how memories work, as this story is pretty traumatic, and it definitely deals with modifying memories. It has a very interesting ending as well, for just me. Leave it at that. So I does also think it is an interesting look at art and the fantastic that is in a world that is simultaneously less fantastic and, gets less fantastic because there's more technology, right? But while it's getting less fantastic because there's less mystery in the world, it's also more fantastic because this tech is magical in a sense, right? So there are also flashbacks in this book that are done especially well, especially in context of a world where you can get rid of your memories, and it does help develop some of the characters too, which are Bao and Lin and her sister Chon, I think I'm remembering correctly. They're actually twin sisters. I remember there was a time The Tsar of War is mentioned, which is a book I haven't read, but I do know of. And the book is divided into three parts: Fat Victory, Straw Dogs, and Neon Gods. And anyways, it does actually mention Johnny Mnemonic as well, which I thought was pretty interesting. So overall, this was actually a pretty good read. And if you like cyberpunk, you want to read a standalone, it does have a pretty good narration too. and you want a book set in Vietnam maybe, or set with a main character that is a woman and a gangster and has a twin sister, then this may be the book for you. 36 Streets by T.R. Napper. I definitely am looking forward to reading more by T.R. Napper. I know he has a collection of cyberpunk short stories set in Australia. It might be called Neon Leviathan, but I'm not remembering 100%. But I will probably read that at some point because I really enjoyed this. So good job, Napper, and good job, Titan, for publishing it. So it's Liam Lyceum. I'll catch you next time.